Let's do
All
it.
right, you are ready and you are on the clock, as they say.
Yep. Amazing, amazing. This one is coming. So next article is coming to you from The Verge, and it's talking about the new Lucid Air.
Mm.
And the article says Lucid Air is the first electric car with a 520-mile EPA-rated range. Footnote there, that's 100 miles more than the Model S Long Range Plus currently, as of right now. But and so if you guys are not familiar with Lucid, we've been, it's, again, one of the manufacturers we've been kind of keeping track of. A number of years ago, their CEO, Peter Rawlinson, who actually led some of the development of Model S back at Tesla, so that's pretty interesting. He also said when he left and started this company that his models would eventually outpace some of the components of the things that Tesla was doing. And at least as far as range here, and in a way, price, I could say, range and price too, yes, is going that way. So, but yeah, so to be specific, the Lucid company, they've got a few different designs there, or a few different models. And if you just go, you might bring it up there too, but there's four models. The Air Dream Edition, the Air Grand Touring Edition, Air Touring Edition, and then the Air Pure Edition. And so this is some of their names. There's four different ones. But this article in particular is talking about the range of the Air Dream, which actually the reservations are all taken, so it's already spoken for. But yeah, it's saying 520 miles of range. And so
Right.
thinking about it, I wanted to take, as talking to Mike too, I'm like, okay, what actually sets them apart? Is this a technological achievement, or what are we actually looking at here? So just a few quick things to think about was the Air Dream Edition is going to have a 113 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Mm-hmm.
And to get just apples to apples, battery pack size, the car they compared it to, the Model S Long Range Plus,
Mm-hmm.
has a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack. And so we have 520 miles rated for the Air Dream Edition, and 405 miles or so for the Model S Long Range. And I just looked it up on Tesla's website just to get the most up to date, because you guys may know Tesla's website changes sometimes, just whenever they feel like it. And they said that, so Model S right now on Tesla's website, base purchase price, straight purchase price, 405 miles for 89,990 right now on Tesla's website. So that's that. And then the Air Dream Edition, 169,000. So it's the first edition. If you guys remember, Tesla did some really expensive stuff in the beginning too. No surprise there, but anyway. And so those four models of the Lucid, they're saying that you could get a base Lucid model,
right?
So the Air, let me get the name up before I forget, the Air Pure,
right?
406 miles of range, and probably and my notes. What was it? It was 2022.
Let's see. Air Pure was 480 horsepower and 406 miles of range, starting at $77,400.
77,000. Yeah. So. Yeah. So it's definitely, they've definitely come through on that.
Yeah, sure.
On their range.
Without a doubt.
What do you think, man? I mean, we've got so many other facets to electric cars, as we just kind of mentioned with other things, charging and all that. But what's your thoughts?
Look, it's almost absurd. Look, 9 years ago, when Tesla was just getting out into this marketplace, and you were just starting to think about what it was going to be like to get yourself your first electric car, and people were like, "Look, you're never really going to get the some of the performance. We really haven't figured out battery tech." And everything is slowly but surely moving along. When you look at the fact that you got a 1,111 horsepower vehicle. Granted, the price tag is pretty steep at $170,000. So early adapters beware, you're going to pay that entry level price, right? But at that level, these are gorgeous cars. There's nothing wrong with having a competitor, and it almost goes right back to where we were before. The fact that we're harping on EVs is because, look, the money that is going to have to put behind these for people to purchase them, and also the supplements that the government's going to have to throw in there to make this a market emerge. We have spoken before at length at the fact that the market really isn't there yet, that people are buying these in droves. But these are attractive pieces, right? These become
charging infrastructure, and all the money that goes along with that. I mean, this is a lot of things going to come of this.
Sure. Because you mentioned the range anxiety, and once you see a number like 520, and then you go, oh my gosh, I could do a whole day's trip from between, say, Florida and the Carolinas, and I finally won't even have to stop for a recharge. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, I'll be able to pull that trip off, and I literally won't have to stop unless I have to eat or go to the restroom. And the other part of it is, I'm sure it has some high functioning ability for automation. So maybe this might be the most relaxing drive I might have on the road in the last 25 years, right? This type of car, I see this as a threat to actual general aviation. Okay. There's a point here where this thing becomes a little bit more palatable because people all of a sudden, when they don't think about having to sit there and be on the controls or having to monitor the whole time, they could be a little bit more, lackadaisical. They're driving because the car will do a little bit more. Maybe this becomes an attractive feature for them, right? Because look, even if you go over to the Air Pure, 480 horsepower and 406 miles range is nothing to sneeze at. Right?
No,
That's still phenomenal performance. So phenomenal, I think. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah, what was it? What did I say? The Tesla was 89. So what's the comparable Lucid at like 90K? So they got an Air Touring at 95.
Right. So
that's 406 miles of range, which is
620 horsepower.
Which is the same
right.
as the Model S I just looked at. Effectively, it's 1 mile different, but it's the same.
See, but now you get into one other thing, though. The other problem is the Plaid, right? The Plaid is $124,000. So looking at the Plaid, $124,000, and now all of a sudden you're into supercar territory, right? And you're and you're just 6 miles short of their other model. Now the fact that here's the other part: the fact that they had someone come over from Tesla to head up this whole thing just goes to show you that they're going from a slightly different perspective, but they're aiming at the same area, right?
Electric cars can be quick.
Very, very, very quick.
And we've talked about battery technology in a while. That's something that is maturing, but needs to mature more.
Yeah.
Have the knock-on effects, not just to driving, as Mike mentioned, but also aviation, whether it's automated or uncrewed aviation delivery stuff, or wherever we're going with VTOLs or what. But yeah, so
yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited.
Cool stuff.
Look, and so we're actually laying this whole groundwork for this conversation. You're going to see we're laying it for the final discussion that we're going to go into. So I'm cool with this one if you want to go into the final discussion and kind of take this to its conclusion.
So we're going to keep going. You guys can hang around, but this one, this article here, if you guys like us talking about and bringing maybe some perspectives to you on EVs, gaming, cars, aviation, and obviously, as we mentioned before, rocket launches and the like of that kind of stuff too that we do cover for you live. Please like, share, subscribe down there. Very much helps us out. And let anybody else know that you think also might enjoy it. So thank you.
There you go. Cool. Okay. So I'm just going to say this. Why are we getting into all this stuff at electric cars today? Obviously, it's not necessarily, anything new that we've talked about. We've talked about Lucid before. It's the fact that they did hit their numbers, right?